Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So tonight, I was speaking with Pam, and again, said goodnight to her. But this is what she does sometimes, where when they get her to target me, she'll do this. There are times where she'll say goodbye or what have you. And there are times when I'll say goodnight, and she won't say nothing at all, not goodnight, not goodbye, anything like that, right? So after I hang up the phone with her, or she hung up the phone, there was again police sirens followed about a few seconds later. Okay, which let me know that they're actively listening on our communication. And so anyway, I decided to watch the movie The Eternals. Now there's one scene in there where something was happening, and one of the characters in the movie said, it doesn't matter, they're about to be dead in a couple of days, right? And as soon as that was said, my upstairs neighbor, when they, knocking on the floor, the sound you just heard, that sound I just made, that's what, they did. So again, the psychological threat, okay, and again, we're dealing with, for me as a TI and also as a black person, knowing that you have these white supremacists within police department, the military, and they have created, these technology, which basically can manipulate people's mind, okay, control them in ways that we don't think is imaginable, right? We tend not to want to believe in these things when I have shown, right, that they have been able to do things like this since the 1960s, okay? From the early on to in the 50s up until the 60s. And again, I talk about how, you will find information on certain subjects that they were doing this to, right? But isn't it particularly strange that the majority of the people that you'll see that they show being experimented on is white people, right? With all these different experimentation going on. Why don't they talk about the black people who are being experimented on? Because all you hear about is the Tuskegee experiment, right? What about the radiation experiment? What about the chemical experiment in the St. Louis public housing sector, in predominantly black areas, right? Also that, we've heard interviews from Dr. Robert Heath's assistant, in which he says that this is what Dr. Robert Heath said, that, niggas were cheaper than cats. So if, you can only imagine the type of horrific experimentation being done on black people, right? Black men and black women. But they don't want to talk about these things, right? I mean, if their mentality is that niggas, us as black people, right, are cheaper than animals because we're in abundance, right? Imagine the horrific things that we don't know about, that they're keeping out of the public's eyes, right? So when they start doing these things to me, and they've done this, and they've done it to a lot of us don't even understand what's going on in our program, and how that takes place, how that is shaping us into the type of people that they want us to be, right, mentally. And when they do this to me, and I start to question, start to research, start to understand, these things, but they have to, create the villain mentality, not the villain mentality, but the villain character, right? Remember, it goes into the, you see it play out in the media, in Hollywood, movies, TV, right? The creation of a villain. And what you see, particularly us as black men, okay, is that you've always seen the villainization of black men, right? But now what you're seeing is the villainization of black men within the minds of black women, right? Where they are blaming black men for everything that has happened to them, okay? And this is a mindset that they're being programmed with, and they're not even conscious of it. So what I take from being a TI is, and get understanding this program and studying it, this program, is how they're doing these things, right? And we have been programmed with a mental block that anybody, that particular people like me who talks about these things, there's like a mental block, or they don't want to hear it, or they label you, you're crazy, you're this and that, and that's fine, that's okay. But I just want you to understand this. Look at certain things. I'm gonna point something out to you. When you're watching sports, okay? When you're watching sports, I want you to watch and see how many times you'll see they'll zoom in, tight shot on the American flag, on the player's jersey, the helmets. Okay? Then, after that, okay, or even before that, I want you to watch how they zoom in on the player's ears, particularly basketball, right? When you're doing basketball, when they're broadcasting the basketball game, okay, you'll see how they're zooming tight shots on the player's ears. Then they go to a tight shot of the American flag on the jersey. Okay, I want you to watch these things, and you will see, because again, it's repetitive, right? And just pull up all NBA broadcast games, NFL games, because they may change certain programming. They may try to do it more covertly. But just pull up some old games and look at those things. You'll see. And I started noticing those things, right, early on in my targeting. This is why I don't look at television, because I can see exactly how the programming is being done. Right, and then since most people today now, particularly young people, watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that, you start to notice those things. They drop the bucket. You hear that? I hope you guys hear that. It's a bucket or whatever container they just dropped, right? So you look and you'll see these things. Okay, YouTube videos. You watch how these, particularly in tech, a lot of these tech videos, particularly how they're moving their hands, their fingers, what it is that they do. Okay, certain words that they'll use, and then follow that up with a finger in the air, or maybe a thumb sticking out and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah. So also, lately I've been playing a lot of Fortnite, just trying to get some focus back. Let me move my cup here. Just trying to get some focus back, trying to focus on something, and something that also helped me to improve my memory. And of course, they have built into everything. Okay, so the servers at Epic Game Company, their servers, they have backdoor passes to those things. Because what I've noticed is that, particularly when I get into the lobby, I play a game called Save the World. Okay, and it's like there's a battle royale, which is like player versus player. Then there's Save the World, which is more of a story-driven narrative. And I like to play those things, right? More of the story-driven ones, as opposed to the battle royals, the player versus player stuff, because they just move too fast and all this stuff. So anyway, and I've noticed that they've always put me in the lobbies with kids. Who are always throwing out the N-word, and such. All right, and like I said, I talk about how they use kids in my targeting, particularly when I'm doing videos of the adults targeting me. They'll come back and just use teenagers or young kids, right? And so this is what's been happening, okay? And like I said too, it's all of a sudden they try to act nice and give me all these weapons and stuff like that and such. But I understand why they do this. Again, it's all part of the programming, right? So they try to condition you, okay? And I talk about this like the abusive spouse or what have you, right? They do something nice and then they'll threaten you, and then they'll like particularly with remote monitoring, trying to tell me to be quiet and I'll get whatever I want. No, it's okay. If I have to be quiet about what they're doing in order to get a little money or what have you, I don't want it. Okay? If the rest of my people cannot enjoy their lives, but you want to give me more money or what have you, so I can be quiet and I can be used as a tool against them, no. It's not going to happen with me. It's not going to work. Okay? So, yet again, they go back to playing on the theme using Pam, right? They figure, oh, well, he still loves her, this and that. Listen, like I told her today, I said, listen, you can do whatever you want to do. I have never stopped you. All I just said to you is that you want to go out, what have you, on a date, what have you, get a babysitter. If I'm watching the kids, no. Particularly if I'm at your house. After what you've done, And so, like I said, I'm not, they try to make it seem like I'm controlling. Like she said to me, oh, you're controlling. No, I'm not controlling. I'm just not going to make you turn me into some idiot who's going to be watching the kids at your house while you go out on your date or what have you, come, whenever you want to, and I'm not supposed to see anything. This is what they try to turn me into. Okay? So when I'm talking, when I'm like, no, I'm disagreeing, I'm like, nope, I'm standing my ground. And I'm saying, nope, not going to happen. As soon as I hang up the phone with her, what happens? Police sirens. Okay? All of a sudden, start getting these psychological threats. Right? Like I said, watching the movie, they're listening, any mention of somebody's dying, you're like, oh, you just heard that, right? It dropped something ahead, see? But this is what they do. Okay? So, yeah, and then, she's like, what was it, this week she was like, are you in school this semester? And I'm like, why are you asking? You wasn't concerned. I was in school last semester. You didn't give a damn. You didn't give a damn. Okay? You did not give a damn. When I told you I had to study, what happened? You called me, oh, I'm leaving work late because I got so much work to do, what have you, and such and such. You didn't give a damn about that. But this is how they're conditioning women. And like I said, whatever they do into the black community, particularly black men and women, it's going to spill into other communities. So whoever is watching this, if you're in the Asian community, Hispanic community, guess what's going to happen? It's going to start spilling into your community, even the white community. And you may think it's okay because it's being done to us as black people. Okay, now they're yelling, yawning, because they know I'm doing my video, so they're walking by yawning. So you may think because it's being done to black people. I'm not talking to TIs in particular, okay? Because I know there are Asian TIs, white TIs, Hispanic TIs. What I'm talking about is that whenever you see, right, the black community in turmoil, it is purposely done. It is not by chance, not by accident. It is something that is planned, implemented and put into action, okay? And sooner or later, it's going to come into your community. Okay? So you may participate and laugh and go and this and that. So it's the black people, or it's the N-words, what have you. Yeah, it's the N-word. Yeah, to do it again. Knock it on the floor. Yeah. And so, like I said, they've been changing their tactics, trying to target me very subtly to see if they can bypass my defense mechanism, see if I won't do these videos. And I've just been observing and just looking, understanding. Okay? Because like I said, not only am I a targeted individual, not only am I a non-consensual human experimentation victim, but I study what it is that they're doing. And like I said, whenever they start with this psychological secular threats, I sit back, I listen, I watch, and then I give my observation. And like I said, there's no surprises with me. Okay? I'm going to expose everything that they do, everything that they say, everyone that they use. They're going to be exposed. Simple as that. Alright, so anyway, you guys have a good night. I'll see you guys in the next target individual video.